afternoon everybody, and welcome to this webinar on behalf of HDB for teachers across the UK. My name's Debbie Wilson, I'm from Ladies in Pigs. I'm the chairwoman and I organise events throughout the UK promoting and educating youngsters, adults and people of all ages in between about the brilliant produce that our red tractor farmers produce 365 days of the year. So what we're going to cover in this webinar is we're going to mention about health and safety and food safety when we're working in the kitchen, and we're also going to look at how to make a sausage, how it derives, what's important and what makes a brilliant sausage, and we're going to show you how to make them from scratch. There's lots of easy ways, and I'll give you some nice tips and things along the way to make it easier for yourselves. And we're also going to touch on how the students and the public can recognise traceable and trusted high welfare produce when they're in the supermarkets and they're butchers. And we're going to also touch on the regional sausages and how these differ, so you can personalise your lesson to incorporate local sausages that are relevant to your area of the UK. As part of UK Sausage Week, Ladies in Pigs provide a team of 10 to 12 members to go along and spend 2 days sampling sausages from all over the UK, and whoever produces the sausages are really proud of the mark that they get, and also the overall winners and awards and certificates they get. It helps them to promote their business, and we're very proud to be involved in that each year. When we're there, we see that there's actually lots and lots of different innovative ideas for sausages, especially pork sausages. Pork is a really good vehicle for using any kind of flavour. It takes on all sorts of different international tastes, as well as herbs and spices, which I'll be explaining more in the sausages from different areas. We I've experienced some really strange ones over the time. There's been some really innovative ideas, and one thing we do is we give guidance in our feedback about these sausages. If they haven't necessarily worked on that occasion for the judges, we give constructive feedback as how that produce could be made even better, and encouraging the entrants to come back another year and look at their produce and see how they can make it even better. So starting with health and safety, you'll see that I'm in my uniform, and I've also we're gloved up to minimise cross-contamination. And if I just tilt the camera down slightly, you'll see that we've got the red board and a red knife. We always use a nice easy way of explaining this to students. If you're working with raw meat, there's generally blood involved. So if you think of blood and red, that's a really good way of remembering that. If you're using fish, it comes from the sea, and hopefully it's from from blue sea. So that's a way of remembering, and also match up your knives to that as well. We also suggest, if you're using vegetables in your recipes, a brown board is for anything that grows under the soil, so the soil's brown, and that's an easy way of remembering that. And for salad vegetables or fruit, anything that's grown above ground is the green board. So we always instill this when we're working with students and we're working across the country. You can see it in evidence if you see it as any of the shows and events that we do. It's important that we put that into place with the students so that they they remember those food safety skills, and it also gives them confidence when they're working with things and talking to people if they go on to further studies in the catering field. So that's an important thing, and you'll see me working with the board as we go along, and we're doing the different stages of what we're doing. So where do sausages come from? How do they derive? So sausages are a produce that is meat based and is put in a casing of some kind and made into the sausage shape that we use. To make a good sausage, you need at least 70% high quality meat, including some fat, but not an awful lot of fat. If you use a shoulder joint, like we've got on the board here, so this is a red tractor piece of shoulder meat. So it's got some fat marbling through it, and it's got some fat on the top here. So this is what we would use to make a good quality sausage. The only other ingredients you need are seasoning and some rusk of some kind. And I'm going to show you a bit later how to put those together to make a sausage, and then water to bind it. So you've got the basis of a really good sausage with just rusk, water and seasoning. I'm going to show you an alternative to that as we're working through, where you can use a pre-mixed mix that's got everything in complete, and it's about the ratios and the proportions of what you put in with your meat to make that brilliant sausage. So we also talked about regional sausages. So in the supermarkets you will often see Cumberland sausages. So these are a really chunky sausage. They're sometimes put in a ring, a long sausage wound round in a ring, and you can buy those in restaurants at a Cumberland ring. But generally in supermarkets you'll see them in the regular packets of 6 or 8 sausages. So here we've got a pack that we've got here, and if you notice in this bottom corner here, you've got the red tractor assurance mark. You've also got the RSPCA mark. So some supermarkets don't support red tractor. So as long as you look for a British mark, it ensures that it's British, 100% traceable and trusting in the welfare of the animals. So this is a Cumberland that we've got. You can also buy chipolatas, which are a real nice thin sausage. So they're usually quite good for children who don't want a really thick sausage. Other common ones that you'll see in the supermarket are Lincolnshire. This is a herby and meaty sausage. It's got a stronger taste of sage, and there might sometimes be thyme in there as well. So it's all about meat. It's a real hefty meaty sausage, and it has that heady taste of the sage running through it. Other ones that you might know about are Yorkshire sausages, which I'm a Yorkshire girl, so I'm proud of those. They've got a little bit more spicy, peppery taste to them, but with the herbs running through them as well. And also there's a Gloucester sausages. As the name implies, they're used with Gloucester Old Spot pork. So, if you're in the Gloucestershire area, look out for local producers that have Gloucester Old Spot pork, and that's got a whole different flavour to it as well. This is because that pig has a particular taste, then just flavoured with sage, so similar to the Lincolnshire, but that's the only predominant other additive flavour in it. Other more unusual ones that you might not see about, but they're also regional. There's a Manchester sausage, again, which is a herby sausage, but this introduces tastes like cloves, ginger, nutmeg, mace and white pepper. So it's taking it to a different idea and a different level. And this might be something that you could work with your students and have different bowls of the basic mix and then work with the different flavourings in it and compare and contrast which they enjoy. Another one that's really unusual but is obviously regional as well. It's a traditional sausage that is made in London. It's the Marylebone sausage. This again has mace in it, but it's also got sage and ginger. So again, it's just a little bit of a change and a bit of a different outlook and a different taste experience. There's also Oxford sausages. These are savoury sage again. So sage is a really good standard flavouring in a lot of sausages. But in the Oxford sausage, as well as the sage, you'll get some marjoram, lemon, and there'll also be a mix of pork and veal meat in there. So you're introducing a different kind of high quality protein in there. Veal is obviously a nice lean meat like pork as well, so it introduces that different bit. There's also a square slicing sausage, also known as lawn. This is a mixture of pork and beef, and it's quite convenient with it being in a square shape rather than the sausage, because you can cook it like a burger, like a patty, and then put it in sandwiches in 2 slices of bread, and it's quite conveniently shaped. So, you know, there's introducing you to some regional and some more unusual sausages. The other thing we mentioned is pork is a really good protein for taking on lots and lots of different ingredients and different flavours from across the world. So you will see things like traditional sausages like pork and apple, but then you might see lots of other things in there as well. Pork and maple, all sorts of different flavourings. Again, that's a nice thing to do with students, is to make the basic mix and then let them really think about how they might marry different flavours together. And it'd be lovely to see some of the creations that students make with those different flavours. So we've talked a bit about regionality, we've talked about what makes a really good sausage, and we've talked about how to keep safe in the kitchen and avoid cross-contamination. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to swap over the board and put the sausage making information in there, and we'll start with our videoing of the how to make the sausages from scratch. So we're just making sure that our surface is clean and tidy. Again, we always encourage this. One thing while I'm just getting ready, one of the things Ladies in Pigs does is we offer masterclasses in person with students across the country, where we can come and show them in person what to do and show them some simple butchery skills as well as part of their studies. So if you're interested in that, there's information within the PowerPoint that's been prepared for you that you can let us know if you're interested in booking us to come and work with you, and would love to see some of the students across the country. So for the next stage of what we're going to do, just get my angle right. So in here we've got a bowl with 800 grams weighed out of pork in 2 different bowls. So I'm going to move one out of the way so that we can do this. We've got 100 grams in each of these bowls. This is a basic rusk, and I've actually used a gluten-free rusk which you can get from supermarkets quite easily, and that's got seasoning mixed in with it. So just basic salt and pepper in that one. And in this one is 100 grams of a ready mix, and this is a Lincolnshire mix where all the sage, you can see the dark colours of the sage in there. So that's there. And then in the bowl separate we've got 100 grams of water. So an 800 of meat, 100 of water, 100 of your rusk and seasoning, and this will make you a kilo of mixed produce. So I'll just move that out of the way. So hopefully you can see all what we're doing. I'm not a professional videographer, but what I like to do is put that personal touch into everything that we do. So we've got our mixing bowl here. Now this has got some really nice shoulder meat that's been minced on a coarse mix, and you can mince it again to make it finer, but the whole thing about making a sausage from scratch is the idea that you're not over processing it, and this helps to promote the idea that sausages are not a bad produce to use, and sausage meat isn't, because it's not overly processed. So what we're going to do is pop the rusk in and the water, and it's as simple as that. And as soon as the water and the mix has hit that the mix, you can smell the sage and the flavourings coming through. So you're going to mix it in with your hands. This is where the kids really enjoy, students really enjoy getting in there. And it looks quite wet to start with, but fairly quickly this mix will bulk up and the rusk will work with it. So if we just recap, you're looking for at least 70% high quality meat in your sausage, and then the other 30% should be made up of your rusk and water and seasoning. So we've given that a thorough mix, and that's as easy as it is. You've got a really nice sausage meat there that's really, really lean and really healthy. So just going to repeat that with the other mix. So as I've used my gloves and I've touched one lot of raw meat, I'm now going to change to some new gloves. The other reason I'm using these is because of food hygiene regulations. If you're wearing acrylic nails, it's obviously important that you don't use those in when you're cooking, because of cross-contamination as well. So we've got our other packet of mince, our 800 grams of mince, water in again, seasoning, and this time, because it's only a general seasoning, there's not that punch of the sage that comes out from the Lincolnshire mix. So the last stage we're going to do is we're actually going to show you how to make some sausages. So we've got our sausage meat. This is a really simple hand sausage mix, sausage maker that we've got for Ladies in Pigs just off the internet. So this is something that you know, if you've got the budget, you could use in schools to make it easy to make the sausages. The other alternative is to use an icing bag and cut the end off it and put a really wide nozzle on. So this kit comes, this was not very much money, and the details can be given out on the PowerPoint as well for you. So it comes with 3 different nozzles for the different thicknesses. So this is like your triple arter thickness, and then we've gone for a middle, the wider one, just to show you how easy it is to fill the sausages. So what we're going to do first is, by putting our hand over the spout, is we're going to fill the sausage making machine. And what you need to do is you need to press it in so it's tightly packed. If it's not tightly packed, you will end up with air bubbles in your sausage. So it's important that you really push down with your fingers or with your plunger and just make sure it's tightly packed in. Just put a bit more in there. And then we put the plunger in, and then carefully screw on the end, making sure it's nice and tight when you're finished. So we'll move that excess out of the way. Have a wipe down of our surface. So the important thing to do when you've done this is to make sure you've got some kind of receptacle to catch your sausages in, and then you're introducing this last product into the mix. So these are natural hog casings. You can use collagen casings. And what you need to do is, these come pre-packed, and because they're natural, they do have some lumps and bumps in there that are maybe not ideal for when you're, you might get an uneven thickness of your sausages. So we're just going to find the end and get this onto the machine. You can have natural hog casings, which are more easy to digest from my personal view when you're eating the sausage, but you can also get collagen casings. So once you've got the end of your skin onto the end of the machine, so yes, I was saying these came in a packet, and they're in salt to give them a longevity. They would last unopened in the packet for a year. So if you were only doing this on certain dates, you could buy a few packs, which would make it more economical for the school. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put our bowl underneath the end of our sausage machine, and then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the machine. You need to hold on to the skin at the end, just to make sure it doesn't fly out of the end of your sausage. So we've got our sausage link on there, and we're just going to nicely and slowly wind our sausage meat through. Now I'm trying to do this one-handed. You would make sure that the students had two of them, one holding the machine down and the other one feeding the skin through. So you it's nice and slowly. The thing is, the first time you make sausages, it's about taking it nice and steady. So quite easily we've made a really nice sausage, so we could put that in a ring if we was making it the Cumberland sausage, or if we want to link it, you just nip in the middle, turn it around so that you've got your sausages there linked together to make it a nice presentation. If you wanted to show the children, they were showing it on their boards or on their plates that they'd made a couple of sausages in their mix. So that's been a quite an interesting afternoon working with my own videoing skills, and I hope that you found it interesting. If you would like us to come into your school and do these kind of activities, that'd be great. There is lots of information for you on the Food Facts for Life website, which the details are all in the presentation that accompanies this, and we hope you have fun making sausages. One of the things that is important with the sausages or sausage meat is that it can be used for lots of different recipes as well. So if you search for recipes, you can use sausage meat instead of meat for meatballs. You could use sausages cut up into things like jambalayas, things like that. So, you know, it's a really good flexible meat that can be used for all sorts of things. You can also have a go in a good old Yorkshire pudding and make a toad in the hole, which shows lots of other technical skills as well. There's lots of recipes on the HDB Love Pork website and the Food Facts for Life website as well. And we have our own recipes as well on Ladies in Pigs. So on our website, which the details are all on the PowerPoint as well. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm open for some questions and answers after this, so look forward to hearing from you and speaking to you. Thanks very much, and good luck with the sausages in your class.